Hello, hosts and travelers. Welcome to the podcast Hosting Your Home. Each week, around the world, millions of guests stay in other people's homes using the Airbnb platform. Debbie Herder looks for stories that come from these connections. Listen in as we hear stories that teach us the human side of hosting your home.
Hi everyone, I'm Debbie, your host at Hosting Your Home. The following interview is with a charming couple, Betty Lindstrom and Cedric, her partner. Betty was a brand new host when we stayed at their little casita in Bisbee, Arizona. Rob and I went to Bisbee last February. That's how long this little interview has been in the can. But it's really interesting. I mean, they're a charming couple, and I really wanted to share this interview with you. We had stayed in a hotel in Bisbee for a couple of days, and it was, it's a kind of a small town, and it was sort of tight quarters, and I was really missing the more laid-back style of an Airbnb, which is what I always choose when we travel. And so we chose to go to a property. We wanted to stay a couple more days, and we chose to go to a property, a brand new Airbnb at a nearby ranch, kind of down the hill, named Sweetwater. The name of the ranch was Sweetwater Ranch. I knew that it was the right choice when our hostess greeted us at the car with a big hug. It was like coming home. She was so sweet. And our 2 days there continued to just get better. We really, really loved them. So we discussed their beginnings in this interview. We talk about how they got started and some of Betty's interaction with her family, and also their side business of chili water, which turns out to be really, really good. In fact, we ended up buying a case of it, and it's something that has to go in a Bloody Mary. You'll find the links and all of that information on our website if you want to go look at their website and learn more about them. You'll also hear Rob's voice periodically. We were sitting at the table, Betty, Cedric, Rob, and me, and having our conversation at Sweetwater Ranch. I hope you enjoy this, and I'll be back. Okay, so thank you, Betty Lindstrom and Cedric Colacius for doing this interview with us today. And here we are, south of Tucson, Arizona, in your lovely ranch. And the name of your ranch is Sweetwater, is that right?
It is. Cedric named it just a few weeks ago.
Oh, wonderful. And you're brand new Airbnb host, is that correct?
Yes.
So can you tell us about yourselves?
Well, I've lived on this property for 40 years. I raised my children in the house next door. Mm-hmm. And when they grew up, I sold it, and I regretted it. And when I needed to incorporate my elderly parents into my home, I tried to buy the ranch back because it had been abandoned for 2 years, and it had sold 1 week earlier. So I had kept the property, and so what we did is we built, my parents, myself, and I had an uncle also that came to stay with us, and all together we built this house.
So you had three other adults here?
I still had one kid. He was in college, but he came home for the summer.
You've got 3 children as well.
Yeah, the other 2 were gone and married. The third one was still in college. Uh-huh. And so he would, of course, come home on vacations in the summer.
So the casita that we're staying in now, Rob and I are staying in, is where you housed your parents?
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was in the plans made to be a garage, but we didn't really need a garage here in Arizona, so we extended the garage out a bit so that we could include 2 bedrooms and the bathroom and the full kitchen, of course, for them. And they lived here very happily until they got older and needed more help. Mm-hmm. Then we opened those 2 doors that you see right there. Mm-hmm. Well, 1 door at that time. And we incorporated them into our household. We became one family. But in the beginning, they were separate in here, and they enjoyed their privacy.
We are so comfortable. We are very comfortable. It's a lovely place, and we're not only enjoying the sunshine, but all the birds that you've got out here, and the sounds of the chickens. I know we'll have to go visit the chickens here pretty soon. But yes.
And Cedric came. How long ago did you come here?
Well, to Bisbee, late 2004, so 13 years ago.
And then you have been living here in this house for...
about 3 years now. 3 or 4. I forget. Betty's much better at timelines than I am.
So what did you do in order to get ready for your Airbnb guests?
Well, Betty had to remove all the bars off the windows and the doors. I'm kidding.
Okay.
No, it was actually a very nicely appointed apartment. We had a tenant, or Betty had a tenant here. Floyd was here, what, a year?
A year and a half.
A year and a half.
Friend.
A good friend of ours. But when he moved out, he took a lot of his furnishings with him, so we had to add back in. That was probably the biggest thing, right?
Yeah, and it hadn't been actually redone in a long time. He lived here a year and a half, and before that, we've had many people go through this place. A lot of friends. I think every one of my kids, at one time or another, who's moved back or forth or on in transient, they've lived here for a while. And so we had to repaint the whole thing. And Cedric did. He's pretty handy. He put the double door up so that there's more privacy as far as sound, and a few touch-ups, new faucets and things. It just needed maintenance.
And how long have you been open for business?
2 weeks last Tuesday.
2. Wow. Well, we caught you right in the beginning,
so this is
didn't we?
Thursday, so 16 days.
That's wonderful. And you did. How long did you wait before you got your first booking?
2 days.
Oh, yeah, maybe 2 days. It was...
About 2 days.
And so we are number 4, is that correct?
Yep.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yep. We were absolutely shocked.
Yeah.
that we were getting bookings.
And how do you like it?
I love it.
Yeah?
How about you?
Yeah, no, it's been very good.
So you're meeting everybody that comes through the doors, right?
Yep.
You introduce yourselves, and then, well, I have to let people know that there was the most wonderful thing getting out of the car yesterday. First of all, thank you for letting us come early and being greeted by a hug.
Oh, you know, sorry, that's the Portuguese side of me coming out.
It's wonderful, and it's actually something that other people that I've interviewed have said, that it feels like their guests are friends that they just haven't met yet.
I felt like I was waiting for some old friends to drive up. You know, I kept watching for you and watching, because we had communicated quite a bit. And I kept waiting, and I thought, this is like my friends are arriving.
Oh, that's very cool.
Kind of like our friends this afternoon. They're traveling from Colorado. They have a house in Colorado and one in Mexico. And they're traveling through, and it'll be exactly the same feeling. Oh, here's Irma and Bill, you know.
Oh, that's wonderful.
So
And you have a side business. Do you call it a side business, or is this a full-time business, your chili water?
Well, I'd call it a side business. I mean, we keep hoping it will become more, but it hasn't yet.
And it's, tell me again, agua chiltepín?
The product is called agua chiltepín. It's basically chili water, and chiltepín chilies are these little pea-shaped red berries that are native to this area. And so that's the primary flavoring.
And do you grow them here?
They grow here, but we use enough that we actually buy ours out of Sonora, Mexico.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And are they hot? We haven't opened the bottle yet. Thank you for leaving a bottle for us. We're really looking forward to that.
Yeah, they're quite hot. They're on a heat level. They're about the same as habanero.
yeah, except that the difference is the habanero will stay in your throat, where the chiltepín gives you a burst of heat and it dissipates rather quickly.
Oh.
And it's got a very nice aftertaste.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you use it for drinking? You put it in Bloody Marys?
Yeah, people have concocted various cocktails with it, but the thing that's usually used for is either Bloody Mary or put it in your beer. There's a way of drinking beer in Mexico and here called michelada, which is a beer over ice with lime juice, hot sauce, sometimes some kind of tomato juice.
Whoa!
It's delicious.
You're going to have to try that, Rob.
But people cook with it. I cook with it all the time. And then people use it as a tonic and just take it straight.
And Cedric is the main cook in the family, and he puts it starting in the morning in eggs, and then all the way through the rest of the day. I mean, anything, you can take just the simplest dish, and make it delicious by adding a little agua dulce.
Well, and it's very pretty looking too. We want to take some home for presents for our family if we can purchase some from you.
Absolutely.
You might want to try it first.
We will. We'll give it a shot. The label is
we'll give you a
gorgeous. You made the label and you manufacture it. You actually make it here at your house.
Yeah, we'll give you a tour of the manufacturing facility
lovely.
at some point.
We'll take some pictures and add that to the website.
Yeah, we're geared up to make a lot more than the
Wonderful.
current demand is. But
Wonderful.
We could actually, last week we did a period over like 4 days, but we did 540 bottles, just
Holy
the two of
moly.
us.
Wow.
Now I've got a grandson that'll come in and label, and we've got different family members who can help if we needed it. So we could actually do twice that much in a week.
Wonderful. Do you have a website?
We absolutely do.
Good. We'll have to get that and put that in the show notes as well.
that'd be wonderful.
And what a cool thing to piggyback something like this with your Airbnb business, because you're going to be bringing in a lot of people through here, and it will really help to promote your other business.
The last couple bought a case.
Did they really?
Yes.
That's fantastic. And do you sell it to any of the stores in town?
Yeah, we have, I think,
How many
25 retail outlets now. Most of them local here in Sierra Vista, which is 25 miles away. And then in Tucson, we have a number. And then we've just started getting a few up in Phoenix area. But a total of 25 retail outlets.
Wonderful. That's really great.
And they vary from natural food stores to Ace Hardware.
Wow.
Ace Hardware is one of our bigger clients.
And one of our places that sells it there's different levels. People know their clients and they sell it for different prices. But we have a biker bar in Tucson that sells a lot of it.
That's fantastic. Do your children know what you're doing here as far as your Airbnb is concerned?
Yeah, I don't have
Yes?
to.
Of course,
Yeah.
yeah.
Any issues with them? Any?
Well, my kids are always hesitant whenever I do a new thing. And I've done several new things. But then I am with them, too. They blame their discontentment on me.
Oh.
So they're always getting into new things, and I'm always getting into new things. And so they was kind of standing back and watching. They felt comfortable with me renting to friends. Mm-hmm. But now we have all these strange people coming in.
That's right.
But so far, they've been wonderful people.
Do you use any of the rental platforms yourselves when you travel?
I've used VRBO, but I haven't traveled since Airbnb really became a big thing. I've traveled, but I haven't rented any accommodations like that. I definitely would use it.
And I'm new to it, so I just now, before I came in here, I was going through the sites and I found this fabulous place in Cancun.
Oh, yes.
Well, when I have used like VRBO, I really don't like staying in big hotels. I was in the corporate world for a while, and I had enough Hyatt Regencies, so
Yes.
I'd like to rent a house or something where I get a feel for the people and the culture and stuff like that. So. I think this is a great thing.
Yes.
And my daughter's been telling me about it. I had no idea that she's been using it for a long time. She just never told me. And she just got back a month ago from Cuba, where she did an Airbnb.
Yes.
So, and I just didn't know that that's the way she traveled.
Yeah. That's the way we travel all the time now, if we can. Our choice is to be in a place that is unique. You don't get that uniqueness with hotels. You could never find a place like this with the amazing bird population and the sunshine and the ranch atmosphere unless you did something like this.
Right.
And the view of Mexico.
And the nice people. Yes. Oh my gosh. We can look out the window and see Mexico. How incredible.
Unfortunately, you have to see the wall, but there was a time when we didn't have the wall.
Oh, okay.
It was just a 4-strand barbed wire fence.
Oh.
And sometimes my horses would get into Mexico, and I'd send my 10-year-old kids into Mexico to get the horses. It was a little different in those days.
Gee whiz, yeah. Is there anything that you would like our guests to know about you?
Not really. I think not about me. I mean,
Anything I might have missed? Rob, do you have a question?
I just want to mention that the Cuba connection with Airbnb is pretty interesting because Brian Chesky, the CEO of Airbnb, created, was it 5,000 or 500? Maybe it was 500 houses in Cuba that were ready to go on as soon as Obama made the connection with Cuba open up. So they instantly had a number of places in Airbnb that you could stay there. And we have other friends who have traveled to Cuba and stayed at Airbnb there.
Well, she said now, though, that because you got to go to Mexico first because of the new administration, she said that there was every nationality that she could meet there, and she was the only American. They said very few Americans go right now. So I was surprised to hear that. And she stayed in a little old place in Havana, right down in downtown Havana. She said she wanted to avoid any of that sound stuff you've been hearing about. So they stayed in this little old place, and she said it was wonderful.
Oh, fantastic. That's on my bucket list. Thank you both very much for doing this with me. I really appreciate it.
It's wonderful that you did this.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming and staying with us.
Oh, we love it. We just love it.
Yeah, and the fact that you have had that many bookings in your first 2 weeks portends very well for your...
Yes. You will be a super host in no time.
Thank you. We've actually got 2 more bookings, so we're up to 6.
Good for you.
That's really fantastic. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you. That was such a lovely interview. I have such fond memories of staying there. Betty and Cedric are just such super nice people, and I have to put a plug in for their chili water too. It was really very good. We ended up buying a case ourselves. Anyway, we will have a link to Sweetwater Ranch on our website. So go there to Hosting Your Home, and you'll see a picture of Cedric and Betty, and there will also be a link to Tio Setti's website where you can purchase the water if you're interested. And always, of course, any messages, comments, I'm always happy to hear from you. You're welcome to send me an email at Debbie@hostingyourhome. And we'd love to have a review from you on iTunes too. There are a few there. I just happened to look the other day and thought, oh my goodness, people are leaving us reviews. How cool is that? And awesome too. We have like over 25,000 downloads. So we started this thinking, I don't know if anybody's ever going to want to listen to me. And it's pretty cool to see how word is spreading, and evidently we're saying some things that you want to hear. So that's very cool. Host to Host is flourishing. Go to hosttohost.org and take a look at our website. We're going to be changing it within the next few months as we do some reorganization, but we are growing very well, and our host population is receiving us beautifully. The vendor fair was very well attended, and within the city of Portland, businesses and the political realm, people are beginning to know who we are, and we really appreciate that too. We have really high hopes for the future. Thanks everyone for listening. I hope you had a really good Thanksgiving. Today is the day after Thanksgiving, and I'm just filled with gratitude for all of you. Take care. Bye-bye.